channel, it's Lauren. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome back to Amateur Scent Hour. Today, we're gonna be talking about perfumes and candles. We're talking all things fall. I know it's kind of like a meme about like, oh, fall, everyone loves fall, but like fall really is such an amazing time for scents and cozy scents and all of that. And I feel like every year I just get more and more into it, and I can't wait to share some of my favorite scents that will like immediately take you to fall. We're gonna start with candles. Gotta show them some love because candles are the way I decorate. I don't really do anything in terms of decorating for fall anymore. I just don't have the space to store stuff outside of the season. I also tend to like my decor that I do have. Like, I keep my stuff a very long time and I don't really switch it out that much. So to me, candles are a perfect way to give your house like a new feeling, a new season, something festive, and I love scent memory, so I have a lot of candles that just bring me back. First, you guys, this one, it has my heart. It reigns over me. I'm obsessed with it, and I mean that. When I say obsessed, I don't say that lightly. I mean it. This is the Caramel Pumpkin Swirl candle from Bath & Body Works. I've already burned one of these and I bought a few to go through still this year because it's so good. If you don't like sweet scents, like bakery gourmand sweet scents, don't buy this. You will not like this. I'm telling you, I have changed so much when it comes to candles. I cannot get enough of the gourmand scents, and I'm telling you, that was not me like only a couple years ago. Now though, especially in fall time, I think they're so cozy, so festive. I can't get enough. I just want to curl up on the couch, put one of these on, smell it within my whole house. And I usually find these have a really big scent throw. So, I mean, you don't even sometimes have to light these things. You just have the lid off and, you know, you're smelling it all over, which is amazing. So, Pumpkin Caramel Swirl. This is described as luscious caramel, ground cinnamon, rich brown sugar, creamy vanilla, with natural essential oils. You definitely are smelling the caramel. There's a tiny bit of spice, but not too much, because sometimes, depending, a little too much cinnamon, like my nose doesn't always love that, but this one is just so good, and it is over the top sweet, but I think there's something about it being caramel that there's this tiny bit of salty to me. Like, okay, no one, when you smell this, you're gonna be like, what the hell are you talking about? But to me, there's something that doesn't make it just land on the sweetest note ever. It's the same as the salted butterscotch one. They both have the same level of just like, holy shit, this is so sweet. But then there's something about it that brings it back. I don't know what it is. Something about the caramel. You know how caramel can have like this super sweet, but then like this tiny bit of salt to balance it on your tongue? I feel like that still is happening. Like that same sensation is happening in the smell of this, and I'm obsessed with it. And that used to be the scent that I was like, I like it, but I don't. Like, I can only burn like a literal fourth of it every single year, and it took me like 3 years to get through a candle once, and now I'm going through like one candle a month of it. I'm just obsessed with it, if you can't tell. We're gonna move on, but so good. Keeping on with sweet scents, this one is actually from Goose Creek. I just recently found out about this brand this year, and these candles look almost identical to Bath & Body Works. Like, they're 3 wicks, like I think they're the same size, they have the same cap. Like, my husband was like, aren't you sure those aren't the same? I'm like, no, they're not. And they're about the same price, but this one here is called Caramel Apple Lane, and I believe that it's basically like the same scent as Cider Lane from Bath & Body Works, which is a carameled apple. It's so good. That's another one of my favorites, but I didn't see it back this year. So I love the smell of this. This one doesn't have a scent on the bottom. I really wish they did that, but let me find it. I mean, it's exactly that. Yeah, you get hit with both. You get like the caramel, but then you do get this almost tart green apple in there that really brings it back. I love apple scents, especially during fall. Well, really all year round, but they describe this as a gentle autumn breeze drifts through the orchard. Caramel covered apples are the treat of the day. Crisp apple, warm caramel, sugared cinnamon, and woods. Yeah, and I think it's that perfect mix of like pretty sweet, but then there's definitely the apple in there to cut it. And I think if you're someone who, when I'm talking about Caramel Pumpkin Swirl, you're like, oh, that seems a little too sweet, this might be like the way you can get some sweetness, but cut a little bit so that it's not, overpowering, like sugar rush to your brain. I'm really excited to burn that, and I'm so excited that I found a dupe for Cider Lane because that is one of my favorite scents from Bath & Body Works, and again, I just didn't see it this year. I also thought I'd mention, I ordered a couple different candles from Goose Creek, and this is the Caramel Spice Frosting. This literally is a dupe of the Caramel Pumpkin Swirl, so if you're gonna order from Goose Creek and you want to try that Caramel Pumpkin Swirl scent, this is like exactly the same. I love it. I'm so into it. It's like you don't have to bake, but it smells like you're baking. Next, we have Leaves, which is a classic from Bath & Body Works. I think this one is so great. For me, this is like deep fall. Like it's not quite winter yet, but we're definitely getting into like holiday season. Maybe it's close to Thanksgiving, something like that. Like that's what Leaves reminds me of. It's very cinnamony, and I'm telling you, I usually don't love that, but there's something about Leaves that's very nostalgic to me. Sam always says that this smells like Michael's during the holidays when you can get those like spiced pine cones, and they're usually at the entrance, so right when you walk in, it like smells like it. That's kind of what this smells like, but a candle version. It's really quite nice, and it's definitely not nearly as sweet, but it's not like a clean fragrance either. So if the sweets are not for you, this definitely I think would be. The fragrance notes in this are crisp red apple, golden nectar, warm clove spice with natural essential oils. Yeah, I think that fruit in there is definitely like the apples. It almost could be like an apple cider that has like the cinnamon sticks and the clove that's like sitting on the stovetop, like you've been cooking it. That's what this smells like. It's very, very nice, super festive. Like you don't smell this any other time but fall. Last candle I'm gonna mention, I really narrowed it down. They have so many amazing scents at Bath & Body Works, and I mostly shop there, especially for like more foodie type scents. I usually get more of like fruity or fig or just other type scents from different brands, but I just feel like Bath & Body Works does a good job. They do. They just do a good job. But this is sweater weather, so this is for anyone who maybe wants something that's more like unisex. I mean, obviously all of these could be because they're all like food scents, but this definitely has a bit of like a cologne-y smell to it. It's definitely fresher, almost like a pine and almost like a mint. Like there's something in here that definitely feels like cooling, like almost like the air is cold. It's really nice. Sam really loves this scent, and again, if you're like wanting to take a break on the very sweet like cozy scents like this, I think you'd really like this for like the daytime as the weather cools down. The scent notes on this one are fresh sage, juniper berries, aromatic eucalyptus. That's probably kind of that minty. The eucalyptus was doing that, I think. Fresh woods with natural essential oils. No apple. I guess it's the juniper berries, but it's a very, very good one if you want something fresher. Last honorable mention for Bath & Body Works, because it wouldn't be one of my videos if I wasn't talking about this damn hand soap. This is the Marshmallow Pumpkin Latte, my favorite hand soap from Bath & Body Works, and it's back, baby. I'm so happy. I don't really buy the hand soaps from Bath & Body Works anymore. I do like the little tablet type thing that you put in and it smells good. I get mine personally from Blueland, and I'm so happy they're starting to do like scents, which makes it more fun. I love that. But this is one that I will treat myself to. So I picked up a few for the season. So excited to start using this. This makes your hands just smell so yummy, so good. I love the smell. So much scent memory for me, but it's just such a sweet, I don't feel like overpowering, but then again, I have changed a little bit on that, like what I'm tolerable of. And I know like back in the day, I would have been like, I don't know about it. And now I just love it so much. So I love, love, love this hand soap. If you haven't tried it and you like Caramel Pumpkin Swirl and you haven't tried this, like you need to. It's not the same scent. This definitely has more of that marshmallow, so it's more vanilla, not so caramely, but so good, especially in your hands. It kind of lingers in the best way. All right, and last, let's talk about some fragrances for fall. I don't have the largest collection, and really as I'm exploring my scents, I'm realizing that I do like some fragrances that are a little bit what I considered in the past like deeper or like full-bodied than I used to. So I don't have a ton of those in my collection. I also don't have like a huge collection to be like 20 fragrances for fall. Like I don't know. That's like the collection, which I'll do a collection video at some point. But I thought I would talk to you about the scents that I'm excited to wear during fall that I actually own. And then I thought I would talk about a few that I'm excited to try that are for fall or potentially want to get, that type of thing. And of course, I'd love for you to leave your recommendations for fall fragrances down below. First off, I'm going to start off with this Dossier perfume, which if you don't know, Dossier is like a dupe brand. So this is duping Labo Santal 33. I think that Santal 33 is a perfect year-round scent, but I do think that it works really well for fall too. This is so good. I'm learning that I really love violet and cedarwood, like cedar together. Those are some of my favorite scents. I'm learning. Oh my gosh. Okay, so on here it says the top notes are violet leaves and cardamom. You definitely get the cardamom because there is a bit of like spice to it, but I'm telling you, I'm not the biggest fan of like super spicy things like nutmeg, all that necessarily, but something about the way this plays with the woody notes in here, it really works, and I find that it also works super well in the dry down. So even when I first smell it, it is a little like, ooh, okay, spice, but it doesn't wear like that on me, and it's so good. So, I love that. Okay, anyway, middle notes are orris, ambrox, cedarwood, and cypriol, and then the base notes are musk, sandalwood, and amber. Such an amazing scent. I plan on getting the original after I use this up, but at the time that I bought this, I wasn't as into fragrance as I am now, like as I've been getting. I mean, I've always in my life loved fragrance and scent memories and all these things, like, but I definitely was like, what? There's perfumes out there that retail for $200 and that's not even the big bottle, which my mind has been blown. been so blown by some of the scents out there. But anyway, I've almost used this whole thing up. Like, I know I love this, so I am excited to get the original. I think this is a really good dupe though, so definitely this or the original if you have it. Next is a newer fragrance to me. I actually picked this up at Sephora and it's a new release from Replica. This is the Autumn Vibes perfume. I just went with the travel spray, which is $30. I think this retails for like $125 in the like full-size bottle. It smells like the woods, but there's something kind of sweet underneath it to me. It's so woody, but like a dry wood, but then yeah, that sweetness coming through. I really enjoy it. I'm really sad that so many people seem to not like. A lot of people I've watched review this do not like it, but I do. There's like a really dry wood note in here. Ooh, and it's just so perfect. I think also if you're someone who doesn't like something that's too heavy in fall, but you still want something that's like not as light as like a lot of springtime or summertime fragrances, I think this would be really great for you, especially if you like wood. You gotta like wood. I'm gonna read you the notes on it. Oh, and so the top note's cardamom. Maybe I like cardamom than I think. I mean, it is spicy, but I really get a lot of the wood. Like, to me, it almost is like sawdusty. How the spice comes across to me mixed with the wood just gives me like that really potent. My grandpa was a carpenter, and so it just reminds me of his shed that he had, and it's just so much wood back there. And so like sometimes that dusty smell kind of hit my nose, similar to how the cardamom and pink pepper on the top are hitting it. The middle notes are carrot seed and nutmeg, and then the base notes are cedar and moss, and that's like that's what it is. I find there's a sweetness coming from something. Like, I think it's not like a sweet perfume, but it could be drier to me, I guess. I don't know. I really enjoy it, and this does seem like the weather's cooling down, you've maybe just started wearing scarves, but the days aren't so short and so dark, you know what I mean? Just that perfect time of year, the trees are just turning their leaves. And yeah, the air is starting to have this crispness to it that it didn't have in summer, you know, like when you walk out your door and it's kind of hot, it's starting to be like cooler outside than inside. I really, really like it. It smells like walking in the woods at that time of year, and I'm into it. I highly suggest smelling this in store though. It's definitely in Sephora, so smell it if you're interested. I personally like it, and if you're on the fence, I definitely suggest trying the travel size, because maybe it'll just be something you wear just for the season and you might not want more or want to splash out on a more expensive bottle. It's so funny as I like get more into fragrance, I'm like, wow, the fact that like $125 bottle of perfume isn't that bad. Oh my gosh. It's expensive, man. It's expensive over here. Okay, next is something that I found, I think last year for the first time. Oh, and I'm so excited to have it for a second season. This is Jo Malone's Orange Bitters. Jo Malone was a brand that I definitely started with like more, you know, niche or like not just designer brands and perfumes, but I feel like I've moved past it just a little bit. But this scent is so good to me. This one's a little bit darker to me, but the orange brightens it up, and I think that's why it works for me, because I'm not into things that smell too much like you're in a like dark dusty library lounge smoking a cigarette next to vanilla. Like, I'm not really into that scent, and so sometimes some of these like worry me, but oh my gosh, the Orange Bitters is just so perfect. Like, I love just smelling bitters, grapefruit bitters, all that. Like we have a bar that has, we just like having all the stuff. And it definitely smells like orange bitters to me, but like a cologne version. Definitely could easily be unisex because when I smell this, I think of like an old grandpa who's like having some type of alcoholic beverage with orange bitters in it, right by a fireplace. Maybe he's reading, you know, after like a long day. And he smells so good, like, cause he still like smells kind of manly. It's so good. I just love the way that the orange is in this because it's not like overly sweet and fruity in so many ways that I feel like I smell citrus and smell orange in other like summery fragrances. Let me actually read you notes. The notes on here, it doesn't have them as like top or not, but it's bitter orange, amber, sandalwood, orange, mandarin orange, citruses, and dried plum. This is just such a good one. It's cozy enough for fall. I do smell like almost something kind of boozy, but again, it's just a little bit fresher. It's a little bit lighter while still being woody and like heavy enough to keep you warm during fall. I really love this one. I bought this after using 3 sample vials up, and then I was like, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. And now I'm so into that one. So glad I have it. I just have the small bottle, but I really love that one. Next, we're gonna talk about a classic, you guys. I have it in a rollerball. Oh my gosh, this is Flowerbomb by Viktor&Rolf. If you were around 2012, 2013, 2014, this was the scent. This is what everyone wore. I can remember watching beauty YouTube, and when people would talk about perfumes, this was the one. Everyone loved this. Everyone. At that time, I was not into scents like this. And I feel like if I ever have been, it's now. There's definitely a bit of like something kind of spicy to it, but really I find it like a little bit deeper and quite sweet, but not like too girly. It's a little bit more mature, like woman sweet. It's definitely not something I would wear all the time. It's still not like my favorite, but it's definitely like a fall scent. Oh, okay, I'm gonna look up notes because I wanna say there's patchouli in it. It seems like it. Oh yeah, floral patchouli, yes. That's probably why I didn't like it originally, but I feel like there's enough stuff in here that I don't mind the patchouli. I don't think I'm like the biggest fan of patchouli. I mean, again, I'm still trying to like figure out what my scents are, but I don't think I am. Top notes on this are tea, bergamot, and osmanthus. Then the middle notes are orchid, jasmine, rose, freesia, and African orange flower. And then the base notes are patchouli, musk, and vanilla. Interesting. I would have never known what was in here, but tons of flowers. I didn't know there was any type of bergamot. I didn't know there was tea, but I guess that's what that comes out as. So if you have Flowerbomb, baby, I feel like fall time's the time to bust it out. There's a warmth to it. There's just definitely something that keeps you warm about this fragrance. I know I'm gonna try to wear it a little bit more this fall. The last fragrance that I have is unfortunately in a tester and just a little sample vial, but it is one that is on my list to get. I can't wait. I believe it is new from Aerin. It's called Cedar Violet. It is so good. It's kind of similar to Mojave Ghost. Honestly, if you like that from Byredo, there's something about the way that the violet and the cedar in this smell that is so good. I feel like it's a little bit sweeter than the past like woody scents I've been discussing. It's so good. This is like a great fall, but like daytime, you're still doing normal stuff. I mean, I think you could probably wear this any time of year, but I think because it just came out, I don't know, I get it. I really like this one. The main accords on this are woody, ozonic, aquatic, amber, powdery, and green. And it definitely, like, yeah, is woody and green. I mean, it's not sweet like candy or even like too much fruit, but there's something about it that just doesn't like land on such a dry note to me. But the top notes on this are violet leaf, then we have the middle notes of Virginia cedar, and the base notes of amber. And yeah, that makes sense because it's really like all I smell is like the violet, and there's like, to me, a sweetness to it, and then the cedar, and together it's something that's like a little bit different but still kind of girly. And I do like green scents, so some things that don't seem that green to me because they don't like literally smell like vegetable gardens might be pretty green for other people, but that I do tend to like that. So I'm so excited for that one. I do get a little bit of powderiness as it dries down a little bit, but I still like it. It's still really warm to me, and I like it on my skin. So I'm gonna try out a few more vials of this, like the sample, before I commit to the full bottle, but that one's on my wish list at the moment. So we'll see as I try the rest of those ones how much I like it. But if you like Mojave Ghost, I think you should give that one a sniff because I feel like they're kind of similar. Okay, so those are the scents that I'm gonna be wearing a little bit bit more this fall. But some that are kind of on my radar, I really want to try Kilian's. Is it by Kilian or Kilian? Anyway, I really want to try Apple Brandy on the rocks. This seems a little bit outside my comfort zone, so like there's no way. I mean, I don't really blind buy that much. I don't know. I just feel like I'm so picky. I have no idea, even based off of notes, what the hell I'm gonna like. But this just came out and I really love the idea of the On the Rocks as opposed to the original Apple Brandy that came out. The top notes on it are pineapple, cardamom, bergamot. Then the middle notes are rum, vanilla, moss. And then the base notes are ambroxan and cedar. I tend to like things with ambroxan in it. I like things with cedar in them. As we've seen, I like things with cardamom. So I want to smell it. I want to see what it's like. I think the bottle's super pretty. And I mean, it's been pretty hyped up since it just came out. So that one, I just seems so perfect, like the perfect thing for fall. I love that it's apples. So that one's on my list to try. Another perfume that's actually on my list to get at some point is Replica's By the Fireplace. If you would have told me that By the Fireplace was going to be on my wish list like 3 years ago, I would have laughed at you because that's how much my scent has changed. Like how much I'm way more into what I consider, again, like darker or deeper fragrances. But there's something about By the Fireplace. It's so authentic to like a campfire in the woods with marshmallows. Like it is so authentic to it that there's just something that I can appreciate about it now that maybe I couldn't before, but I genuinely do like the scent as well. So that one, definitely you can smell the smoke and you can definitely smell the marshmallow. I feel like it's the perfume version of the like marshmallow fireside candle from Bath & Body Works. The top notes are cloves, pink pepper, orange blossom. Middle notes are chestnut, gaiac wood, juniper, and then the base notes are vanilla, Peru balsam, and cashmere. And I don't know. When I smelled this in store, I did really like it. I think I'm going to try to get a few samples and use those this season before I like, again, buy a whole bottle. It is a very season heavy scent to me. Like you really aren't, you're not wearing that besides in the fall and winter. So I'm not sure if I want to like this fall get it or if I want to like make sure it's something that I want to have in my collection for the amount of time it's going to be there. So that one is definitely one, or if you have it at home, obviously bust it out. I'm sure you know if you have that. Anyway, those are all the fall smells that I'm going to have in my house. I'm going to be wearing. I want to try. I'd love to know what your favorite fall scents are. What makes you get into the spirit? I just feel like fall specifically and summer. I love like summer scents too, but for fall, I really, really do get into it. And I feel like the scents really enhance my experience of the change in season. So I would love to know what your favorites are down below. Candles, perfume, what you want to try, what you have. I've been loving all of your guys' perfume recommendations. It's been awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for being here and for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.